Good morning, I'm Steve Sines with Urban Explorers TV. I'm here today with Ryan Gravel, whose master's thesis at Georgia Tech in 1999 was the inspiration for the Atlanta Beltline. Welcome, Ryan. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. We're going to talk a little bit about the Atlanta Beltline. I kind of want to go back and get your thoughts on, how it's evolved and how it's changed and how maybe your thinking about it has changed.
Sure.
So I guess my first question is just, how did you come up with the idea for the Atlanta Beltline?
Well, it evolved over time. I think I did a year abroad in Paris in college when I was studying architecture at Georgia Tech in the early 90s, and really changed the way that I saw the world. I had lost 15 pounds in my first month of being there because I was eating fresh food from the local market and walking wherever I went. And the relationship between the built environment and the way that we live and our lifestyle became really clear to me. And I was interested when I came back to Atlanta in how to make Atlanta the kind of place that had the similar kind of interesting relationship. So I continued studying architecture and urban planning through graduate school, became obsessed with the role of infrastructure in our lives. And when I needed a thesis, it had to be a sort of a design project, but at a city scale to accomplish both architecture and planning. And so I had this idea for this loop of old railroads circling the city.
And is Atlanta unique in that it has that loop? I'm guessing it is because it was started as a railroad town.
Sure, yeah, Atlanta's built by railroads. That's the reason that we exist. So there are railroads everywhere. A beltline is a historic term for kind of beltline that belts around the city, not the one that goes through the middle.
Right.
And a lot of cities have beltlines, but Atlanta's unique to have 4 that line up to roughly form a loop. There are other loop beltlines, other cities. Buffalo has one, Detroit has one, Paris has one, but Atlanta is sort of uniquely situated in sort of the cultural history of Atlanta. So the idea was to reuse the railroad itself for transit, to incentivize the development of all that abandoned land, and to revitalize the neighborhoods along the way, many of which at the time had really been struggling against sort of the onslaught of the 20th century and decline, but now we're sort of perfectly positioned to come back to life. So the Beltline was a way to re-energize, revitalize those communities.